For the first time since World War I and for the first time officially since World War II, Georgia and Georgia Tech will not play this season in the fall. It's really a sad, sad thing for those of us who grew up in Atlanta and who know this rivalry well. Dean Legge from Dog Post making you a smarter Georgia fan, and you really can't blame Georgia for this one. It's, quite frankly, it's what the SEC did. Why they did it, that's a little harder to know. But I think really this was about television more than anything else. We're really going to miss, though, this is a classic rivalry in college football. It's been played now, this is the third century that this game has been played in. And while I won't see the fourth century of this game being played, it's really changed over the last 40, 50 years. There was a time when Tech was the dominant team in the state in the 1950s. And really, the rivalry changed when Vince Dooley got to Athens. It was a game that had been identified as a game that the Dogs needed to win. And they did. I mean, under Vince, Georgia did not lose very often to Georgia Tech. In fact, and that set off a chain effect from that point forward that really changed athletics at Tech for sure, but certainly the trajectory of the rivalry between the Dogs and Jackets. It's called Clean Old Fashioned Hate. That's the nickname for it. If you're watching I'm sure you know that. But for Tech, when Vince got there, they were still in the SEC, and soon thereafter they left because of a big fight with Alabama and Bear Bryant about recruiting and what went on at Alabama with recruiting. And they kind of were in Never Never Land for a while. I mean, Georgia obviously still played them. They would play South Carolina, Auburn, Tennessee. But as the SEC kind of moved forward, Tech started getting dropped from a lot of places. And the rivalry for Georgia and Tech really waned compared to what it once was. And I have to say that I think that, the late 90s, when Tech won 3 games in a row, that's about the best time I can remember Tech having in my lifetime. Those were good Tech teams, Joe Hamilton and company. They got into some trouble with the NCAA about playing ineligible players, but on the field, they certainly won 2 of those 3 games. I mean, you're not going to tell me they won the game in 1999 because that was stolen from Georgia for sure. But the rivalry is still extremely important. I think it's more important to Tech. I think if anyone tells you that it's more important to Georgia, they're not really telling you the truth. This game is always the most important game Tech plays every single season. It is the most important game Georgia plays in a season when they lost the year before. And you've seen a lot of classic Tech Georgia games that have happened the year after Tech won in 1991 when Georgia beat the Jackets. And I'm going off memory here, 18-15 in Atlanta. The year after Georgia Tech claimed a national championship, a co-national championship. Then you've got the 2001 Georgia Tech game where Tim Wansley and company really did a number on the Jackets. Georgia winning 31-17 in Atlanta. I think that was Tim Wansley. If it's not Tim Wansley, I'm getting someone confused. His defensive back took George Godsey's pass back for a touchdown, and that place erupted when that happened. Obviously, I think the biggest game that I can remember, really probably in the last long while between these two, was the 2009 game between the two. And, Georgia had a bad season, and 6-7 days before that, they had lost to Kentucky, a not good Kentucky team in Athens. Go to Atlanta, primetime game, ABC. The Jackets are on television in primetime. That doesn't happen a lot. They are a top 10 team. Georgia comes in. We Run This State is born that night. Georgia Tech goes on to win the ACC championship, but they could not beat Georgia. It was quite a game. Really a lot of craziness that night. I could not believe what I saw that night. But it goes back to, for those of us who grew up in Atlanta, this was the most important game for the vast majority of Georgia people who lived in Atlanta when I was growing up, which was the 80s. and obviously spilling into the 90s with high school. This was a huge game. They were close a lot. And then Mark Richt came, and it shifted big time towards Georgia. This century, Georgia Tech has won in 2000, 2008, 2014, and 2016. It's been rough. I mean, Ohio State has dominated Michigan this century, but Georgia's really dominated Tech. And some of those Tech teams were not that bad. And I know this has been a good time for Georgia, but they won't get the chance to continue their domination over the Jackets because of what's happening in the SEC. You cannot blame Georgia. This certainly is not Georgia Tech's fault. The ACC did what it was supposed to do to keep these rivalries, and the SEC poked them right in the eye. So it's not ideal, but Georgia is in bed with the SEC, and they just happen to play Tech. That's really what's going on here. They make money in the SEC. They don't make money with Tech. There you go. That's what happened. I want you to take a look at this playlist for 2020. We're going to be updating this soon because 2020 has changed for sure. No more Virginia, no more, out-of-conference games, no more Tech. It's sad, but it's true.